Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and here we are, episode 3. What was the title I wrote?
Different blends, but it's still coffee.
But it's still coffee,
But it's still
exactly.
coffee.
And we'll have to find a picture to put on. And before starting the episode, I would like to first, let's say, as if they're like episode sponsors. You're about to do a Zen course.
Episode sponsor, yes, I'm
Yeah.
sponsored with my presence.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, so I'm about to do an 8-week introduction to meditation and mindfulness for health and well-being course starting on the 3rd of August. All the information is on my Facebook page, which will be linked to this podcast. So yeah.
And we're about to do at the end of the month also a meetup, a Bistrin meetup, so a liberal arts, to see how many of us are here in Canterbury, to meet each other, have a nice conversation, and, to talk about things that normally, we don't normally talk, in our everyday's life, and, meet like-minded people over nice drinks, and maybe, if the group grows, we can spread onto other events and activities.
Yeah, I may or may not be able to make that one because it is on my wife's birthday.
Oh dear, no! I don't want to be. I don't want to be close of.
So that could be it. Maybe the next one.
Great. Okay.
Right, so what do we mean by the different blends, but it's all coffee?
It's all coffee.
What do we mean? Are we being facetious? Are we making a straw man argument out of people's different religions?
Yeah. Well, I mean, religions, philosophy, internal, however you want to call it, internal growth. I think they're all about religions more than the others, but they're all methods of shielding our minds from the suffering of our lives.
Okay.
So religions manage to raise shields against suffering of our lives.
Okay.
In my case, at least, it was Catholicism first. You go to church, the priest tells you, you got to be grateful for suffering, and it's an opportunity for you to grow and all of that. But he never told me how to get out of suffering.
Yeah. And this is kind of the thing, isn't it? I mean, I think we're not really making light of anything. Well, we are obviously, but we're not putting anything down. I think all of these different methods of achieving what you want to achieve are valid depending on where you come from. So they're all different blends. So you might like Starbucks, you might like Costa, you might like own brand coffees, you might like the coffee you make at home. But essentially, the aim is still, I like the taste of coffee and how it makes me feel. I like how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
That I think is it. But I get that about mainstream maybe doctrinal religions, that they kind of they try to shield you from suffering, which is no bad thing, but they don't actually go any further than that. They treat us a little as though we're sheep.
Yeah, I mean, what is that we're trying to achieve? Because we're saying all blends and different coffees. So we're trying to, this episode, we're trying to not take you to enlightenment, but we're trying to take you to a line of reasoning to show you how religions, philosophies, cultures, they all tried it with different methods to see the world as it really is.
Yeah, I think that's a nice little...
To see the world as it really is. As, we walk in our everyday's life, we give name to things. We give name to days, Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and, one day I get up in the morning, I hate Mondays. But Monday is just a concept, and it starts from is our mind giving power to objects outside of us. And where can it all start from? I say that, at least I bring my example because it might be people relate to it easier. The start of my path started with suffering. Suffering in what sense? I don't have a car, I want to buy a car. I have this job, I'm not happy, I want another job. I want to get more holidays. A constant state of not feeling good enough. And this state, we end up in today's society. We end up in it, all of us. And the mind is really sneaky, because the mind, can make perfect conclusions, but going the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah.
And, it can say, yes, you're not good enough. You're not going there. You're going, and it goes to the path that, or it eventually takes you down to depression and other things. So Shantideva, the philosopher Shantideva, gives a beautiful line, but also Ramana Maharshi. They say, if you're not happy with what you have, how can you be happy with more?
Yeah, and it's similar to a kind of phrase I heard once. Going on holiday won't make you happier because you'll be going with you.
Yeah,
you're the reason you're not happy, not anything else. So you're bringing yourself on holiday, and yourself is what's making you unhappy. So because you're going with you, the holiday won't help. Moving house won't help.
Yes,
because you bring your problems with you.
Yeah,
and I think that's really relatable, because a lot of people do start in suffering for these days. I've reading a book at the moment by Alan Watts. It was written in 1950, but what it says, the more I read of it, the more it seems timeless. I mean, there are some anachronisms in it. There's some kind of he talks about what computers can and can't do. He's actually very accurate, but there's some little bits. But essentially, he's saying that this society, this world, this culture that we live in has been designed in order for us to feel like we need more, in order for us to suffer subtly, but enough that we need that new car so as not to suffer. We need that nice dress so as not to suffer. We need this new whatever. But it's designed so that as soon as you get it, then you need the next thing, and then you need the next thing, and then you need the next thing. So his idea of it is kind of similar to your Monday being a concept. It's that everything the mind has kind of developed to keep us safe, to give us shortcuts, to allow us to calculate things in the world, very useful, is it has made concepts of everything, including God, right?
Yeah.
So that sound I made with my mouth is not God, is nobody's idea of God. It is just sound I made with my mouth. God.
Yeah.
But we attribute to that a concept of God.
Yeah.
And I think all of these practices, all of these blends of coffee, all of these things, the idea is to move beyond that so that we can see that part of us that creates concepts is not necessarily all of us.
No.
In fact, it almost certainly isn't all of us.
Yeah.
Or as the Buddhists would say, it's empty.
Yeah.
It doesn't have an essence of itself.
That's right.
And therefore, nothing else outside of us has an essence of itself. So
that's right.
Now, it can sound a bit depressing, though. What would you say to that? It can sound a bit depressing.
It can sound depressing.
What's the point?
Why
don't I just go out and murder everybody now?
Yeah, it can sound depressing, and this is the path that many took, the path of nihilism. But lacking an inherent essence, if you are quite clever, if you just think about it just a tiny bit more without falling into, the pessimism, is maybe one day you sit there, you're like, okay, happiness is not outside, it's inside of me. You sit down on the bench, you're like, this is the end of meaning. Yeah, everything I've done is meaningless.
Okay.
Maybe this is the start of meaning.
Okay.
You start doing, actually, you don't have to start doing anything. You'll find out that the way out is in, and your happiness is within. You've been looking for it elsewhere, outside, all the time, and now you're actually finding your true essence. Now, there are no books, there are no rules here. You can only be guided. You can't even be guided, to be honest, because this is experiential, is internal. You enter the Buddhists call the stream, and actually we've gone quite fast. So it's we got and so it might sound very abstract. So let me take you to steps. Let's say I'm gonna use just the Buddhist ones because they're nicely laid out. But I'll show. Let's talk how they nicely go across all of our religions and cultures. So in Buddhism, we have the Four Noble Truths. So there is suffering. Suffering has causes. because there are causes. The third reason is that you can take out suffering, and the way to take out suffering is the path. Now, let's see how they go across all of our knowledge. So the first one, there is suffering. What is suffering? Is mental, physical. There is suffering. In Islam, we have suffering. People suffer. In Christianity, we suffer. Christ made all of his life about suffering. In Hinduism, there is suffering. That's why the gurus try all of their best to suffer. In Zen, there is suffering. In psychology, there is suffering. In psychotherapy, there is suffering. And, there are different types of suffering. As I said, there is mental, physical. There is also suffering of change. Suffering of change is that one day you're happy, the other one you're sad, and then you're sad and you're happy again. This is suffering in itself because it changes. One day you're poor, one day you're rich, one day you might be, you might have a fruit, the other day you won't. So there's this kind of suffering. All the religions recognize there is suffering. All of them approach them in different ways, and they are all valid. With some points, we might not agree or not, but they all try to do the same thing.
They're valid. They do the same thing, but they're not for everybody. Everything isn't for everybody by definition.
And the most important bit is suffering has causes. And now here we're going to spend a little bit of time because suffering has causes. Most of the causes are Buddha says, Jesus said, Prophet Muhammad says, and the great Hinduism religions, and the great philosophers Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, the great philosophers of the past say that there are causes. One of the first cause is ignorance. Ignorance causes most of our suffering.
And let's just define ignorance a little bit before we go on. And I again will quote Alan Watts on it. So ignorance, a lot of people think of as lack of knowledge or lack of know-how or something bad. But he pronounces it ignorance. So you're ignoring willfully or not willfully, ignoring what's in front of your eyes.
That's right.
I think that's a nicer way to look at it rather than ignorance being a bad thing or a lack.
Yes. Yeah, because when we talk about ignorance, it's more like we think more like of he's ignorant. Don't talk to him.
Exactly.
It's literally not seeing.
Not seeing. Yeah.
So in Christianity, what is not seeing is not seeing is you suffer a bit for things you shouldn't really suffer.
Yeah.
How many times in Christianity they say you lack of nothing. Yeah, Christ is within you, God is within you. You're born perfect.
Yeah.
And Christianity is trying to tell you. Not all priests will tell you this. Every time you suffer, you should take it as a warning signal that happiness is not there.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
Okay, but a lot of priests don't get they just say you should be grateful, and this is it.
Yeah.
And Hinduism says the same thing. There's with Schopenhauer got there, Nietzsche got there, and Buddhism says the same. You are giving the external factors too much power.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're treating our object, my car, my flat, my chair, this is my food, as an extension of ourselves.
Yeah.
Hence, when we lose it, we suffer.
Yeah.
Is there any sense in it, Edward?
Well, I think Socrates was, had an exercise to help with this sort of kind of this attachment type suffering, which I thought was quite interesting when I read about it. And I've had a couple of people argue with me about it, but I think I have answers to the argument. But the exercise is that the exercise is that you imagine losing everything. You imagine that everything is impermanent and that you can lose it. And you do the thought experiment of losing everything. You imagine dying, you imagine losing all of your possessions. And then because you've imagined it, it doesn't have the power over you anymore because, well, you've already imagined it. You've already played that out in your head. Now, I've had people argue with me in terms of, from the Buddhist perspective, you shouldn't be attached to things at all in the first place. Therefore, why would you imagine losing them? But we've spoken about this before. You have to give that part of you that, well, let's call it the ego for a shortcut. You have to give it something to latch onto. There has to be, and this is where the more modern philosophies of this sort of work has kind of come into its own.
Yeah.
You have to give it something to step on in order to transcend.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite a nice one to give it. You think about your car and you fully think about and feel what you would feel if you lost it, if it was gone.
Yeah.
And logically go through that to its logical conclusion. Ultimately, you'd be fine. You'd probably just get a new one. You'd be sad for a while, and then it would be okay again.
Yeah. So we're getting into the attachment.
That's
thing,
kind of So that's
so. What is attachment? Because now we're describing it. This is my thing, but what is attachment? So attachment is projecting onto an object, overestimating its qualities, and because we overestimate its qualities, we suffer when those expectations are not met.
Yes.
For example, Edward, we're going to go for a pizza today. You look after it so much that when you have it, you're not that happy anymore.
Yeah.
Same with the relationships.
Yeah.
So this is, again, ignorance. So the root of our
you're
suffering,
ignoring what's actually going on to the will of something else.
So the cause of our suffering is rooted in ignorance. Yeah. Ignorance causes anger, causes attachment. Anger, what is it? Anger, it's a form of attachment, because you overestimate the qualities of someone. When they're not met, then you get angry. Yeah. So those are all mental afflictions. Those are all states of mind. They eventually, when the good with right view, they get purified. And Christianity got there. They say help aiuta il prossimo in Italian. So help your neighbor. Always help. You and them, we're all a community.
Yeah. I think Christianity got a little bit lost in the instructions. Some philosophies, some religions don't have enough instruction. So you go there and they just tell you, well, just be. You can be enlightened right now. Just choose to be enlightened right now. There's a type of Buddhism that does that. I can't remember what it is, but it's instant enlightenment.
Yeah.
And fair enough, that might work for some people.
Yeah.
And I think then what Christianity kind of has done over time is it has gone too far the other way.
Yeah.
So you have your commandments and you have now, I'm not saying Buddhism is perfect in any sense at all, because it sometimes, like I say, doesn't have enough instruction. And then in some forms of Buddhism, it has, in my opinion, too much instruction.
Too much,
with the caveat.
Mine is.
With the caveat that the instruction is optional.
Yes.
You can use the first of all of the instructions and get the whole way, or you can use them all along the way. And I quite like that. But in Christianity, bringing it back, they got lost in the
This is it. The message is revealed.
Yeah. And you kind of go, love your neighbor.
No.
Don't do this. Do that.
Yeah.
Jesus did this. Maybe you should try it. And it kind of gets a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
And you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
It lacks intention.
Yeah.
It lacks direction.
Yeah.
For me. Not for everybody, this is just for the way my mind.
Yeah, a lack of view, lack of right view and right thinking, brings us to this. Actually, we talked about in the deleted podcast, because the mind is very logical. It sometimes goes through some very logical paths which are wrong. And, you're like, oh, I'm suffering. I hate this place. I hate the UK. Yeah. I'm going to go for a travel. I'm going to go find myself for 6 months. And then you come back, I feel better. And then you're back into the routine. You're back into your habits and you suffer again.
Yeah.
But what's happening? You're obviously, because you're not paying attention to the present, you're being ignorant. What happens? You go abroad. When you're abroad, the inputs are so many when you're abroad. They forces you to be in the present.
Yeah.
And you don't suffer because you're focused on the present. You're not attached to things. So you're focused in the present because there's so many inputs, different language. You've got to catch a train. Nobody speaks your language. You are there in the moment.
Yeah.
Then you come back and you're like, oh, I hate this life. But
it very quickly comes back. Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
So this is our mind going on its own, and trying to find a solution where it's not there. We've all been there.
But it's interesting, though, just to cut you off a second. It's interesting that we feel that we need the holiday, so we know that it's good.
Yeah.
We sometimes even follow that knowing. So you're almost there when you decide to go on a holiday. You're so close to the fact that you could live like this all the time.
You're so close,
and then you don't.
Yeah.
And I've done it so many times, and I continue to do it all the time, and it's but it's nice. It's nice to kind of read around other people having the same journey, hear about other people making the same mistakes. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
It helps me. It helps me know that when I'm a complete, absolute fuck up, other people have done it as well. You know,
because when I go to temple, Buddhist temple, I feel a little bit better than when I used to go to church. Because when I go to temple, people at the end of the session, they present themselves or they present their questions, and I see one was a veteran, another one was we're all coming from suffering, you know. Which in the church we're not coming from suffering. Sometimes we're just coming from, I don't know,
just coming.
We're just coming.
Yeah.
And everybody is dreading the moment when they have to give the offering. The basket.
Yeah.
And they're afraid how much they get judged by how much many euros they put in the basket.
Yeah.
So we are at suffering. Just not to get just to remember the audience that we are at suffering. The suffering has causes. Sorry, this is the second step. Suffering has causes,
and it's ignorance.
And it's ignorance. That's right. You see it in Christianity. You know, the life of Christ when he was. If you ever read the book *The Master and Margarita* by Mikhail Bulgakov, he shows us a scene which I really hoped it would be in the Bible one day, maybe in a revised edition. He imagined it in his mind.
Okay.
A discussion between Jesus and Pontius Pilate.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
And Jesus just shows love and compassion, and he tries to show the world how it really is. But Pontius Pilate just can't. He just can't see it. Just can't see it.
Interesting.
He tries to save him, but the ignorance of all the people around him, they just want to condemn him. And Jesus is like, okay, I'll just show you that I'll suffer through this life, and I'll show you that happiness is really not where you guys are trying to find it. Then we'll leave it alone.
Interesting. No, I must read that.
Yeah, it's Mikhail Bulgakov. Is the first two chapters. I love Russian writers because I don't like nonfiction. I like nonfiction books. But the thing about Russians is that yes, there are novels, but they go so deep into human psyche that it's almost like psychology. It's not really novel.
This may be for another episode, right? This may be for another episode, but I need you to be convinced that fiction is worthy. Because fiction is one of the blends of coffee.
Good.
And it can get them to the same place. I had this very conversation this morning with my wife because she just finished this children's book. And the way she spoke about it and the things that it elucidated for her, it's incredible. And we were talking about how it works much better. Better is the wrong word. It works differently when you have a first-person perspective than when you have a third-person perspective in a book. Because with a first-person perspective, you almost have to forget the self and become the character in the book. Now, we're forgetting ourselves. Where does that sound familiar? So, and then you become the character in the book, and you realize things that you wouldn't otherwise realize. With a third-person perspective, you are still watching a movie, so you're still watching the movie of the book, right? So you are detached. Now there's a literary technique called put me on the spot now, and I can't remember what it's called. But essentially, during a third person perspective, you write as if it's out of the head of the character you're following,
right?
And it's part of limited third person. It's called. I'll write it down. But basically, it's third person, but you almost slip into first person, and that can give you the same feeling, and it like sneaks it in. But literature, fiction, just like the Russians, I think you like the Russians. Right?
I love the Russians.
I think you like them because they tend to be a bit more upfront about what they're trying to say philosophically. Whereas if you read modern fiction, modern literature especially, you could read it and go, I don't know the hell what that was about. That was just about two people going for coffee for 300 pages. But if you read it like literature, you would find those things. And the work, the suffering you have to do, right? You suffer, suffer, you forget yourself. And I think enlightenment can come from literature.
Great. We have the next topic. We got the next topic.
Anyway, sorry. Ignorance.
That's good.
Ignoring. So what are we ignoring?
So I'll bring it. I'll just do a step.
Okay.
Third process because then things blend in very in this topic things just blend in very fast. So so the third step the Buddha says is if you remove the cause of suffering. Cessation happens. So the cessation of suffering happens. what is the way of cessation? Is renunciation. Renounce the suffering. We have a prayer in Catholicism, I renounce this, I renounce suffering, it's a sort of mantra that we say. Yeah. I renounce the devil, I renounce, how do they call it? The rosemary, the rosary. Renounce this, I renounce that, so I renounce, I renounce hell, I renounce all of that. So renounce the suffering. Renouncing the suffering, what does it mean? It's renouncing its causes. So renouncing the attachment, renouncing the anger, renouncing all the bad mental states that cause us suffering.
How do we do this though?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, we have to recognize what does happen when we are in a bad mental state. What happens when you're angry? You don't think clear. The law of karma. So when you're angry, you will create other bad mental states, and you will act not in a clear state of mind. So when you're angry, you better walk off or do something, But a good mind, a good Catholic mind, a good Buddhist trained mind, a good Islamic mind, do have the mental shields that we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast. They have shields that make you think clearly.
Okay.
Or at least they make you think calmly and analyze the situation and come with good outcomes. So let's say, one day, I don't know, Edward, you don't say hello in the morning and you get angry. I get angry. Old me gets angry, and I'm saying, oh my God, he got angry, and then I come to you, Edward, for God's sake, I treat you badly because you didn't say hello to me, right? If I had a Catholic mind, if I had my Catholic shields, or if I had my Buddhist shields, or if I had my Muslim shields against this, against the anger, I'd be like, okay, maybe, he had a bad day yesterday. Maybe he didn't even see me. Edward, how are you? I was like, okay. You see, it's, the antidote to these bad afflictions, to this is let go of them, renounce them, and practice compassion.
Okay, no, I don't disagree. So it's all technically within the teachings, yeah. My problem with it is when we say this sort of thing, when people say this sort of thing, simply don't react. Simply think about the other person.
Yeah.
Simply, as the Christians would put it, think of the love of our Lord Jesus Christ and act with compassion towards your fellow man and blah, 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 blah. That's all well and good and it all makes sense. And I think everybody knows this. However, when you're in the moment, you can't do it. Why can't you do it? Because we have a thing called reactivity. We have part of us that will react in order to keep us safe. This us that protects us and keeps us safe, this is what we need to work on.
Yes.
So the rest of it is all fluff, in my mind.
Yeah.
The rest of it makes sense and philosophically it's interesting to talk about, but it's not very helpful.
Absolutely.
So how do we...
Yes, and this is the reason why, it's very good to learn these things philosophically, but if you don't practice, it's pointless. This is what the Buddha said.
And practice is the key. Yeah, that's where I'm getting to.
Because we have habituational patterns. We have this, what you're talking about, they're negative patterns. These are patterns. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I get angry. Is there a way to transform these negative patterns? Yes, there is. Otherwise, our conversation today.
Otherwise, we're done here. And
yes, there is. Okay. In Buddhism, the way is through meditation.
Yeah.
You meditate. You first build up concentration through samadhi, and then you do analytical insight, which you see your bad thoughts for what they are. You try to transform them through. It's called vipassana. And then you bring this state of meditation throughout the whole day, and that's called bhavana. If these sound very unusual to our Western mind, it's very simple. In the West, in Catholicism, we have the prayer. It's mantra. You reflect on what's happening during the day. Unfortunately, we do not have Christianity does not give us the tools to then go and face the world afterwards. It's a little bit, it falls a little bit when you go out.
I think it gives you some tools.
Yeah.
It just doesn't say what the tools are for.
No.
So it gives you a hammer, and it does not tell you that the hammer is made for hammering nails. It gives you a screwdriver. It does not tell you how to use the screwdriver. So, and this is my problem with it. I don't have a problem. The more I learn, the more I read. I have less of a problem with Christianity because I actually think it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And it gives your thinking mind a really good thing to latch onto, that is love and God.
Yeah.
mainstream, it's not really teaching these things.
Yeah.
So I've been reading Thomas Merton recently.
Yeah.
It's the Seeds of Contemplation, and so how he defines contemplation is exactly how Zen Buddhists meditate.
Yeah.
You sit and you try to release all kind of concepts, right? Essentially. So let's just keep it simple. The point of the practice, all of the practices to my mind, the point of the practice is to let go of all of your concepts.
Yeah.
Concepts being the metaphors you use, the symbols you use to symbolize what's really happening, right?
Yeah.
So this, including, and there's nothing it doesn't include, but including yourself, including your house, including everything, right?
Yeah.
So you want to let go of that. Essentially, all of the different ways of doing it are just different ways of doing it.
Yes.
So, but the Christian way is a brilliant way, I think.
Yeah, they're all valid.
You sit and you try to empty yourself, like Jesus did through kenosis. You empty yourself out, so that in their view of things, you can let God in.
Yeah.
You can realize that you are one and the same with God. Look at the Buddhists; they will say reality, the universe, whatever. Same with the Advaitas and the yogics, the yogis. And the Sufis again use God because they're of that Abrahamic kind of thing. But if you look at mainstream Muslims or Islam, they again have all of these teachings on how to live a good life, and I think they're fantastic teachings. A lot of them. Some of them are a little outdated to where they're from, but that's fine. But they don't then tell you how to empty yourself. They don't tell you the point of prayer. The point of prayer is not to feed the ego of some person in the sky.
No.
The point of prayer is to empty yourself of your ego so you can just become one with what actually is.
Correct.
So all of these things are all well and good. All of these words, all of these concepts, but it's so simple. Follow one of them and you will get to that place.
Yeah.
And it just bothers me when it gets so complicated and so just people, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy.
No.
I'm not saying all of this is straightforward, but it certainly doesn't need to be as complicated as all that.
And I have a feeling that probably proto-Christians and proto-Muslims, they must have had ways to apply these tools in real life.
Of course they did, yeah.
But we lost them through the books, and we lost them through St. Peter's, we lost them through the caliphates afterwards.
Yeah.
And anyway, what we're talking about, this is the fourth step, is the path, basically. So basically, what did we have? We had there is suffering.
Yeah.
Second step is there are causes.
Mm-hmm.
Third step is because there are causes, we can remove it.
Mm-hmm.
So through removal, we can get to cessation. What's the way to get to cessation? The cessation is the antidote. It's the fourth step. It's the path.
And this is what this is.
Yeah. In Buddhism, there's the path is like you need to have like the eightfold path. It's all things, right mind, right view.
Yeah.
Basically, what it is just you need to meditate.
Yeah. You just need to sit on your
mindful.
own. Yeah. Like the Desert Fathers say,
yeah.
you need to sit on your own.
That's it.
And just be.
That's right.
For a bit.
Yeah. In Christianity is the prayer and there is the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
In Islam, all the other rules along with don't eat pigs and all of that and all the stuff. And so
did you know? Sorry, on the Christian side of things, I recently learned the 7 deadly sins came from a meditative, contemplative tradition in Christianity. So the Desert Fathers in 500, 600 in Egypt, they would basically sit in their cells and meditate. So they were monks, essentially, that would sit in their cells and meditate and think about God.
Yeah.
So their way of thinking about what came up was they had 8, not 7, kind of disorders of the mind. And these disorders of the mind were pride, anger, lust, all the rest of it. And fine. My microphone's okay. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't be attached to the position of the microphone. No. So they had all of these mental afflictions. And what they would do is, well, one specific Desert Father would say that you just name them. So you simply name the affliction as it comes up. So lust appears, you say lust, that's what it is, and you let it go. Anger appears, you say anger. What does that sound like? Meditation. Yeah. But they basically got turned into the 7 deadly sins. Yeah. So they're not actually sins. All they are is things that come up in the mind. And if you think about them, they are most of what comes up in our mind, mostly. There's very little else that comes up. So it's not things that you do. They are things that come up. And I think, and this is a leap because I haven't read it anywhere, I think that confession started out as a way of you going, I've been so angry and I just can't get it out of my mind. And the priest goes, I absolve you of your sins. So you can go, oh, yeah, it's gone. Thank
And
you.
you don't think about it anymore.
I don't think it's actually things you do and God forgives you and says, there, good boy, pats you on the head.
Yeah.
It's, I've taken that burden from you. Thank you. And you just let it go.
Interesting. So that would be the scope of
and that's where
for confession every week or something, or you haven't been for a while. And you go.
And it would make sense because then you get to talk to someone about your problem that you can't let go of.
You dump your mental poop and then you leave.
Yeah, and the priest doesn't care because it's not his mental poop. So, but he cares for you as a human being, but it's not his. So it just goes. But yeah, isn't that interesting? Because they were essentially meditating in Egypt as Christians, the Desert Fathers. They were saying, allow things to come up and let them go. Some of them were naming them, which they do in Vipassana. I mean, all of this is exactly the same practice.
It's funny because when I was young, I had something troubling me, that I did wrong, and I would go for confession, and then I say, okay, it's done, I left it.
Yeah.
It's good with God now.
That's it. This is exactly it. It's done, it's with God now. Now, what it isn't, which I think some people think it is, confession, is it's not an absolution of things you do so that you can go and do other things. You don't, it's not like, oh, I punched my sister. And you go into the priest and say, I punched my sister. The priest goes, okay, 10 Hail Marys. And then you go, oh, that's done. I can go punch my sister again. All I did was 10 Hail Marys. It's not that. What I think it is allowing you to empty the more difficult things so that you can be more on your own. So yeah, but that's the practice. Just sit and be on your own.
I remember when I was little also, I stole an ice cream. I felt so bad for a week, and then I went to the priest and I said, don't worry, this next time don't steal it again. And I felt like I was purified, It's
perfection. This is what it is. And this is why I got sidetracked. But it's an interesting, I think, sidetrack because it shows that all we need to do is just be. Listen to what's being, not even listen, because that's a word that means a different thing, but observe, I don't know, be aware of what's, and then just let it go. Tell yourself a story if you want. There's a magic man in the sky who will absolve me of my sins. That's fine. That's a wonderful metaphor for what's happening. Wonderful metaphor. But it is a metaphor because it's another symbol. Yeah. Just let go of the symbol then. Yeah. Just poof.
That's very good. So we're the focus of suffering.
Yeah.
Funny enough, yes, there is the path which is the antidote, but we need to go through this process over and over and over and over again. Okay, This is not something you do once. You have to go over and over and over until you get purified. Now, I don't really agree with the Buddhist. I mean, if you want to believe in reincarnation, it's up to you. I don't know. But the Buddhists say, you have to go through, you learn this, you go through a couple of lifetimes and you get here, and then you go through another 10 lifetimes.
I know.
I'm all for it, for trying to do it in this lifetime.
Yeah, let's do it now.
So we said in Christianity, we have the 10 Commandments, and we said, we have all this. In Islam, you have the prayer, which is to purify.
Yeah.
In Hinduism, we have all the gurus, and
and in yogic philosophy, you have the body movement and the 8 limbs of yoga.
We have people that they got there without anything, without religion, like Ramana Maharshi. He did that through self-investigation.
Or Henry Thoreau, I said to you today.
No religion whatsoever. They just sat down.
Everybody has.
They have that background.
That's not what it is.
But all they did. Sit down and they self-investigate.
Yeah,
that's all they did.
Sounds easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, well,
just sit on your own for a while. But I
know, yeah, and
hard thing to do. Though.
Yeah, and then you get people that got there through philosophy, like the caveman of Plato.
Oh yeah, I love the cave. Yeah, I never told you I was sitting the other day. Right, I have this thing in the morning where I have a cup of tea. I just have a cup of tea. No, you're fine. I had a cup of tea in the morning, and I was sitting drinking my cup of tea. Right, I had the back door open because there was a cool breeze, but I had the window closed, the curtain closed because the sun was shining in, and the curtain was being sucked out of the window and in. Right, so it was breathing like a bellows. And when it went out, I could see the projection of the apple tree at the back of the garden on the curtain, and it made me think immediately of Plato's cave, right? You can tell that story in a minute. But so as I was thinking of this Plato's cave, I was thinking as it was breathing, it just gave me this feel. I can't explain it in words, but it gave me this feeling of the world is telling me so it's alive, right? So there's spiritus there, there's pneumatics where the wind is breathing, and then it's showing me Plato's cave.
Yeah.
Explain Plato's cave, please.
Well, just before Plato's Cave, I
Okay.
just want to give a forewarning because we said that we need to go through all our mental afflictions, anger and all of that, and we need to cure them all, right? Anger, anxiety, fear, we have to cure them all.
Yes.
And so we do that through prayer. We do that through meditation, in Christianity, prayer, in Islam as well, in meditation, through in
ritual, essentially.
Rituals, yeah. So we go through them, we analyze them. There is a cure for them all.
Yeah.
It's just you realize after you've done it all. There's a pill for all of them. Emptiness.
Yeah.
That all means they're just, we put labels on everything. Yeah. So us humans, when we think we think we're clever, but we are a little bit ignorant. Because I don't know. I go there, for example, it's like, Edward, you bought a new car. You made me try it. Oh, this car, good. Feels nice. Good. Cars are good. I want car. You go to the things. Cars good. I want car. And then I can't get car. I suffer. You see, you see how ignorant we are as humans.
It's totally just, yeah.
You see, you go there.
It seems so complex, but it isn't.
Yeah. Oh, you go there. I step on poop, feeling bad. Stepping on poop is bad. And you see, this is the cyclic samsara.
Yes. Yeah.
This is our.
I now know what your mind sounds like inside your head. So anytime I see you, all I'm going to think is Antonello, stand is good. Person says, person good.
And then this thing I step on it's a mass of things that I give it the name poop. So this all I think is now poop, and I put label poop.
It's a concept,
poop. So okay. So
what are we talking about?
What are we trying to get? We're trying to get to the cave of Plato.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So the cave of Plato is. Plato is a philosopher. Say most of us living in the shadows. So we live in the shadow of stuff that is projected. So what does it mean? That we are actually seeing reality not as it really is. We're giving it labels, and we're stuck in those labels. They chain us. They chain us. They give us, pain. They give us all the mental afflictions that we have.
Yes.
Buddha called them the 12 links of existence. We just call them pain and suffering. They are chains. They chain us. And it's a bit like you're living in virtual reality, right?
Yeah. So you're living in a cave, and at the end of the cave is just a shadowgram of life. But you were born in the cave.
I was born in the cave.
You're born in the cave. You never knew anything but the cave. So as far as you're concerned, these shadowgrams on the wall are reality. Right. How do we get out of the cave?
Few of us question it.
Right. Yes. That can't be real.
Yeah. And they do realize then there is no change in the first place. They walk out and they see, oh, look, the real objects are actually here. They just get projected by the light, by the fire that's in the cave.
Yeah.
I want out.
Yeah.
Let's go out.
Right.
And when you go out, you're blinded by the sun for a little bit because you're not used to it, to see things as they really are, which Buddha calls them empty. Things, reality, truth is empty. It means it lacks inherent existence that can harm you.
Yeah.
So the reality is not against you.
No.
Yeah. It lacks inherent qualities. Yeah. So you go outside the cave, and when you come back, people don't believe you.
Yes.
They think you're crazy, and you actually, some of them want to kill you.
Yeah.
Which was the case of Jesus.
Yeah.
Which was the case of many enlightened people. Was the case of the Sufis, which was persecuted by their own people.
Yeah.
By the same Islamists. It was the case of many yogis. For some reason, this didn't happen in Buddhism. In early Buddha, there were people who didn't believe in Buddha, but because his message wasn't revealed because his message wasn't revealed, it didn't create that much anger. He dealt with things that everybody could experience. So
this is true, actually. Yeah.
But it happened with Socrates. Socrates got killed. So this is the danger that faces the person who is enlightened. So what he says is the path for many is just to be enlightened and go home. Just go. So this is the path that Theravada Buddhists say, just go for Arahant.
Do it.
The Mahayana Buddhists and the Zen Buddhists, they try to take you a little bit down the Bodhisattva, which is to try to enlighten everyone.
Help everyone else,
They're all valid.
Yeah, of course.
Either way.
Yeah, you do pick your poison, don't you? Yeah.
The problem that we take is that sometimes when people read into this, a lot of people read this, but they have the wrong view. And what they see, Plato was trying to say, you need to try to be enlightened. Plato was trying to say, and you need to try to gain a world that is not affected. You need to realize that the world is not this; it's something else.
Yeah.
Now he does a jump a little bit. He says the real world is the world of ideas, a permanent, immutable world outside there. I had some problems with that.
Yeah.
And Christians took it out of it, and they said, "Oh, this is what he meant by
paradise and God." Yeah.
And that's how paradise came about.
Yeah.
And the first one that then brought hell, paradise, purgatory is Dante. That's
of course.
And
that came later.
Yeah, hell didn't exist before Dante. Dante made it, and then he stopped. So everybody goes afraid of hell and all of that. And that's how we go into all this, like a little bit, a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But that's the thing; it's all a bit much. It all gets a bit flabby, doesn't it? The longer it lives, the flabbier it gets. You get bits tagged on here and there, and it's kind of it's all so much. And, whereas essentially, right, the way I see it, the way I saw it that morning when I saw the curtain breathing at me is, the cave is my concepts, my ego, my part of me that wants to just make enough sense of the world so I can get by, right?
Yeah.
That is my cave.
That is your cave, yeah.
What I need is some set of instructions to walk out of the cave. Now, there's many ways out of the cave, but it's pitch black, so you can't find your way. So you will get lost forever, right? So what you need is a set of instructions out of the cave. This is the way I thought of it, and I think it's quite a nice way to think of it, really.
I was reading about this. It's got nothing to do with the podcast, but this is so funny. I was watching a YouTube video of a person that he came to class as well to the temple, and he was telling us about his near-death experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Now he's saying, don't believe what I'm just saying. Just take it for what it is. Yeah. And he was about to die, and he imagined going into a light, and he met someone, and he was going through a film of how his life was.
Okay.
And the guide, the angel, was telling me, "You've done this wrong. You've done this right. You've done this wrong. You've done this wrong."
Amazing.
And he said, he was like, "Well, you're telling me I've done this right and this wrong, yeah? But you didn't give me instruction in the first place to tell if this is right, this is wrong. So you sent me there without instruction. Now you expect me to believe what you're just saying."
Very good. That's very good.
And then he said, "It's not your time yet. You go back." I said, "Yeah, you bet I am." And he got thrown back into life.
That is hilarious.
That's hilarious. Yeah, and
yeah.
so we were.
I think he wasn't very near death.
No, he wasn't very near death.
That sounds like a life experience. That sounds like a dream.
But he said he had a heart attack, and they brought him back with the things, with the electrodes, and
fried his brain.
So we were at Plato.
Anyway, so we need instructions out of the cave.
Yeah, it's just out of the cave. The instructions out of the cave, they come either for some self-inquiries or coming from others.
Yeah, you can find your own way out eventually.
Eventually, by
if you're willing to be on your own for long enough. Right. But
now, he's not the only one who went through this way. Other philosophers got there.
Yeah.
Schopenhauer got there as well. Schopenhauer is saying, once you can't find meaning in everything you're doing, you're now exploring your true nature. So now you're going back to yourself, and you feel like you lack meaning. But that's not the end of meaning, like I was saying before. It's actually the start of meaning.
Yeah. There was another point I wanted to make. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So you mentioned earlier that there's a pill to fix these things, right?
Yeah.
And I like that because I'd recently been thinking about, because my Zen teacher Daizan Roshi made this metaphor recently, and he said it's really interesting. So he said basically modern medicine, because we're trying to make people feel better, right? That's essentially what this is all about, trying to make you feel better. So modern medicine, you go to the doctor and you feel bad.
Yeah.
They give you a pill which makes you feel better, right? Yeah. That's the point. That's what we're used to. We're used to, you feel bad, you take a pill, you feel better, right? Yeah. All of this work, all of it, you feel bad, you take the pill, you feel worse. And then you feel better. Yeah. You must feel worse. This is the problem, and you've mentioned it. You've mentioned it tangentially a couple of times. You've mentioned you feel lost, or you feel you do. It is sometimes bloody awful. Before you go, you have to empty yourself. You have to be so just, and it's not like awful as in losing your legs, but it can be psychologically quite terrifying. And this is, I think, why we need the instructions out of the cave. Because if we try to make our own way out, the suffering could be too great that we'll turn around.
Yes.
Because it's nicer just to go back where the fire is, where all the people are, and where those shadowgrams are, because it's safe. We know it.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to travel through, like some people are, without instructions, without religion, without a teacher, then you will probably get there.
And spiritual awakening, as we said in our first episode, comes from a great place of suffering.
It does. It has to. It's necessary, unfortunately.
And this is what I like about Buddhism is that they take this seriously. So what they mean is you do not go out and proselytize. Proselytize. You're not allowed to do that. If you want to give teaching, you got to be requested 3 times before you can. I think they're very strict with Zen as well, probably. You do not go out and be like a missionary. You do not go in for, like, you got to be asked first.
Okay.
So you're not interested in converting people.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, not converting people, but helping people.
Which is the opposite of what Christians need already.
Certain Christians, certain Christian groups are very proselytizing, but throughout history.
Yes. So you can give guides, but if the person inside has not gone through the greatest suffering, the path does not stop.
I think as well what you're referring to is that the seed of awakening has to occur from within you.
Absolutely.
You cannot put the seed of awakening in somebody.
Impossible.
It has to occur.
Yeah.
And I think that's very powerful because you can't. No, that doesn't work. I was going to use a silly analogy, but no, the seed needs to occur within you. I think that's
because there is. Look, I mean, we've seen it. There is a reason why. For example, we are culturally Catholics. But I couldn't get to not saying enlightenment, but I couldn't get spiritual through Catholicism because I was just born with those set of instructions, but I didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Weirdly enough, I found another set of instructions and I got that.
Yeah.
This is to say that there isn't not just one path to spiritual awakening. There are many. Yeah. There's the Christian way, there is the Catholic way, there is the Zen way, there is the Buddhist way, there is the Hindu way. There are so many. You can go through it through self-inquiry. There are all the possible.
And Buddhism. Some people do loads of different ones.
Oof.
Like look at Sinead O'Connor. She went through lots of different iterations of her spiritual journey to try and find her way, and I think that's very valid. You know,
you can go through art as well,
and literature.
Outside of the Russian novelists.
I think music and dance. I think there's a lot to be said, and that's another episode. Yeah. Music and dance, because through that you do lose yourself.
Yes,
because I think there's something.
Tantra,
there's something very and that's another system. But there's something special about music and dance in that the point of both is not to get to the end.
Yeah,
and I think that's a very powerful metaphor for life. Because if the point of life would be to get to the end, then you may as well just die now.
Yes,
the point is life.
Yeah.
The point of a piece of music is while the piece of music is going on. If you try, as Alan Watts says, to fix a piece of music in one place, all you end up with is one note.
Yes.
That's not music. It has no rhythm. It has no different. The point is that. Yeah. So I think you can reach it through music and dance.
Yeah, and what's interesting,
if you know what you're doing.
And what's interesting is that in music, what matters most is the space between the notes and the notes themselves.
Exactly. You know, what does that? You know, there's a reason though that music, because you would think, right? Look at it logically, right? A musician, a jobbing musician who gets paid money to play music. Yeah. Now, money is our metaphor for value, for helping them live, right? So they get paid money for producing music.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at that without all of this, you could go, well, why am I giving that person music? What are they actually adding to society? What are they doing? They're not producing anything. They're not making anything. They're not making people feel better. But actually, what they are representing is life itself. They are giving us life. They are probably one of the most important sets of people there is. It's the complete opposite of what you would think. Oh,
completely opposite.
Dancers, musicians, I think they are so underappreciated.
100%.
Because they are showing us time and time again, this is life.
Yeah.
This here, what I'm doing is life.
I've been trying to say this to my, I had a hint of this when I was younger. I had a hint of this when I was studying engineering. I told you in our first episode. I had a hint of this is not reality. I had a hint of that. I had frustration to my own teachers. I was like, there is something to our life and it's not this. I had a hint. I was like, the spirit of life is not here.
Yeah.
A lot of scientists, they look at this and say, yes, God spoke maths. Really? I said, really? I said, really? I said, this must be a really crap God. Big equations. and At the end of the day, we've got to remember that we come into this life with a contract, which is you come in with nothing, you leave it with nothing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's the one thing you have to do.
It's the only thing you really know. You're coming in with nothing, you get out with nothing.
Yeah.
So everything that happens to you is only adding to your life.
That's it.
Even the bad.
Everything that happens to you is everything.
Even the bad.
Yeah.
Even the bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm doing the priest right now. But even the bad. And now it's interesting because this is another path, isn't it? Science. It's another path.
Yeah, for sure.
I wasn't exploring science as well.
That's a good point. We've left that out.
Science got to a point where, because science, how does science proceed? Karl Popper used to say through falsifiable statements, theorems. And so you cannot analyze something that's not falsifiable, which makes absolute sense.
Mm-hmm.
And through measuring tools.
Yeah.
It's because everybody, can do the experiments.
Yeah.
Everybody can measure the same thing. So you are running experiments, you do your axioms through measuring stuff. We have gone so far now into science that we're running out of stuff to measure.
Yeah.
So now it's gone either too big or too small.
Mm-hmm.
And because we are running out of stuff to measure, now we're going into theoretical physics. And it's just they're making stuff up.
Yeah.
The multiverse. It's made up.
Yeah. But
it's on a blackboard.
But so is God, right?
Yeah. So
anyway, sorry.
So they're getting to the point where, okay, there might be something a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
That we're missing out.
The mystery.
Yeah. We don't know what it is, but a lot of neuroscientists and a lot of physicists, like Carlo Rovelli and also the Italian, I don't remember one of the chief, but we'll put it after the episode. Because now with quantum mechanics, we're getting to a point where stuff is not behaving as you measure it.
Yeah.
And you cannot measure it anymore as well. So now you have to account for stuff that is not happening.
Yeah.
So a lot of scientists like the Schrödinger, I don't know if you know the Schrödinger's
box.
Yeah, the Schrödinger box. So you're like, you put a radioactive food into the box.
Yeah, Schrödinger cat.
Schrödinger's cat. And now you do your equation as if the cat is both alive and dead at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, if you're clever, you know that the cat is either dead or alive.
Yeah.
It can't be the same at the same time.
Yes.
But conveniently into the equations, you assume both states you impose it in both states.
Yeah.
A lot of physicists who didn't do philosophical training think that is reality, that both of them are happening at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
And they take a step further, and now they go. You see what?
Yeah.
It takes you down the wrong path.
Yeah.
And so that you do not see the meaning behind the equations. A few physicists, they do.
Yeah.
And they're getting to a point where, yes, we might not be able to get to a point where there's an equation that puts them all together.
Yeah.
Because of the intrinsic way of the scientific method.
Yeah.
And we might
finding the limitation of their own method.
Yeah. So now it might take a little bit of time. We might even take 1,000 years. You don't know how long it will take. But I don't know. We either have to put the two paths together, spiritual and scientific, or maybe both of them will come to the same solution. But we clearly hit a wall.
They're getting there, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of physicists, they do get to a point, yes, there is a difference between what's outside and what is experienced, and who is experiencing. And obviously, the method of investigation have to be separate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So outside the way is science, but in the way you perceive things, you cannot use science.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because I think science has its problem is it has grown so fast so soon. So if you look at all the contemplative traditions, they are ancient in comparison.
Yeah.
Sometimes thousands of years, including philosophy. Yeah. But science is only 200 years old as we know it. 2, maybe 3. The
method, it's only 300 years old.
You did have natural philosophers before that who were doing something akin to science, but it's not. Even if you track that back to alchemy, right?
Yeah.
You're only going to go back 500 years at most. You're not really. It's not that old.
It's not that old, yeah.
And it has moved so fast, so soon. I think it has become almost a victim of its own success because it hasn't had time to figure out these things that it doesn't know or why it doesn't know them.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right. I think they'll either come together or they'll come to the same conclusion.
Well, they come together because I remember my study of. I mean, I didn't go as far as obviously it's just engineering, so you look at advanced stuff.
Yes.
But you do get to a point where the teacher tells you this is theoretical physics.
Yeah.
So
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
So it's research, but it's on a blackboard at the end of the day,
Yeah. And you can't be there because it's too big.
And what's interesting as well is a lot of people you had to be so careful with language because when I was doing my calculus exams, and they teach the theorem, and they're like, "Oh, and Leibniz discovered this theorem."
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell did you discover?
Yeah.
Math just shows how our mind is working.
Yeah.
How our mind is working.
Yeah.
So math is a reflection of how our mind works. Yeah. This is like the paradox of Zenon.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly the
paradox of Zenon. Yeah. Like you have Achilles and the turtle. You say Achilles will never reach the turtle. Of course he will.
Yeah.
But because you're using tools to analyze reality.
Yes.
You have you're investigating the nature of reality through.
But this is why science will never reach a point, really, because it'll have to coexist with spirituality because
that's right.
It is describing not the world.
Yeah.
It is describing our perception of the world.
Yes.
And it can do that. And it 100%. Can do that really, really, really finely.
100%.
But that's not reality.
100%.
It's not real. That's why God doesn't talk in math.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
because mathematics is another metaphor. It's just another language. It's just another way to describe how we perceive
100%. And I think we're getting to the end of the podcast.
Where are we? We're okay. But that was interesting. Yeah, that went funny places.
And I think it's very good to mention also, in Buddhists, they say the mind has 3 levels of state.
Right.
One is, you're hot, you put something cold on, you get burned. That's the lowest level of conscience. Then you got the higher levels of mind, which are the ones that allow you to think, and the ones that you go to sleep with, you dream, and then you have done the third one, which you normally achieve when you're enlightened or when you die. And so it's very clear that the mind is not the brain.
Yes, of course. Okay.
So your mind is not the brain. So that's the organ.
Yeah.
How these two communicate with each other, is the object of investigation that Buddhism has, that Christianity probably had. In Christianity, very few people bothered analyzing it, like St. Augustine and what you were mentioning, Thomas Merton.
He's not that long ago, so there are people still doing it. And he has followers.
So it's up for debate because probably the brain influences the mind and the mind influences the brain. How it works is still a matter of debate among Buddhists. It's still a matter of debate.
The problem with that statement is that mind and brain are 2 sounds that your mouth are making.
Yeah.
They are not the things that you are calling them. Yeah. The things that you're calling them are the things you're calling them. So what we don't know that there is such a thing.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Mind.
We don't know.
So
we don't know.
This is the problem.
We don't know. Yeah.
We won't solve that problem.
We won't solve it. Well, that was a very interesting episode.
I think so. To sum up, there are different blends. I had so many amazing metaphors for this episode. It was like
it's okay, even if we bleed, go for it.
It was like the barista, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is the barista your spiritual guide then? There's the different brands. There's making coffee at home. So can you
you forgot to say
DIY instead of making coffee in Starbucks, right? So you go to a professional for this work.
Okay, we can edit it. I can edit it. Yeah. I can edit it. Yes, I can edit it.
Okay.
Okay. This is good. This is raw. It's raw. Yeah, it's good. We are raw. Now you can see we're legit. We don't edit podcasts. So think of the coffee of, your spiritual path, how you can achieve that.
Coffee is in life.
So, and Edward wanted to say about the barista. So
right. Okay. So are we not editing then?
No, I know. Do you want me to edit?
No, don't edit.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me just see if I can find my other metaphor.
Yes.
Then we can call it a day.
I can put it at the beginning.
This is real. Yeah. Any other plans for today?
I'm going to Market to be honest. I'm going to Market for ice cream.
No, I didn't have it in this. Many blends. Hold on.
You found it. You got lots of notes.
So making it more immediately satisfying doesn't make it better; it makes it worse. So
you
need to suffer to get.
I think we should do this at the end of every episode.
Yeah, on my note.
Yeah.
So coffee is something bitter. It can be tricky. It's hot, so you suffer first, and then you.
That's it. So hold on. How do you call it at the end of every episode? How do you call it? Like in Italian, we call it rubrica. So you have like a sort of Ed's notebook. This is the end of every episode. We have Ed's notebook.
There can be an overwhelming choice in a coffee shop, right? You're in the coffee shop.
Yes.
And you go,
Yeah.
Do I want a latte or a cappuccino or a mocha? Do I want oat milk or soy milk or normal milk? There's too many choices, but you just want your coffee.
Yes.
You just want to be happy. You just want to be spiritually enlightened. You just want to be happy. So it doesn't matter what one you pick. You pick the one that your heart guides you to.
Yeah.
Cappuccino, normal milk, no sugar. That's the right choice.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Not bittering.
Well, no place is the bittering, so I look costado.
There's deleting the newest fad. I think that's interesting because there's always newer fads in spirituality.
Spicy pumpkin latte.
Yes, butter, olive oil, frappes. Yeah, these are the things that are there's egoism in coffee, right? So you go into your coffee shop and you go, I would like a double latte frappe mochaccino with double whatever extra hot.
2 shots of syrup.
Yeah, exactly. Your egoism, your identification with your coffee. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy who has this coffee. Institutional, so you homogenous coffee shops. So they strip away what it actually is. Institutional Christianity or Islam or whatever they've got to be. They're like the McDonald's of spirituality. And then if you something bitter, you have to suffer.
And you can't really walk away from them because they're on every high streets. Wherever you go, you have your Starbucks.
I should probably read these before we start.
That's okay.
Well,
this is the first Ed's notebook. So Oh, you got it. It's done, yeah.
So that's it.
Okay, brilliant. So this amazing. So this is Ed's notebook. So now we know. Okay, now let's say at the end of every episode we have Ed's notebook. And this would be great. Maybe she want to write the book one day. So it's great. And
like power.
Yeah, it's sick. Okay, because you have you have really the companies that you can't run away from. But they're on every high street. Like you have like the you have the cults in the street. And you have the Buddhist cults. They're everywhere, like Triratma,
and it's the McDonald's of it. It's the sell them stack them high, sell them cheap.
It is. Yeah.
These are all metaphors, by the way. I will not have big.
Of course, yes. No, but like they're bad churches and good churches. Bad communities, good communities. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so that's
brilliant. Yeah, sorry. So thank you for following us. I think our next. We are aiming for the next episode to have a guest, psychotherapist, hopefully. Either way, we'll do another episode, and I think it will be probably on the novelist or
maybe on novels and literature.
Yeah.
Yes. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, I will put as usual some polls. So if you have any ideas in the public, please feel free to comment, subscribe, and also to leave a vote in the polls. Thank you very much for following us, and have a good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.